So you guys want to see what it's like to live with the Hyundai IONIQ 6, so let me show you. All right, so the price I put in the title is because this is the limited rear-wheel drive model. So that's the specs of it. It comes in around $53,000 because of that, and it comes with a lot of standard bits as well. And there's also exterior things that this has because it's a limited. So let's start with the exterior design, because when you live with a car like this, you live with the design, and this design turns a lot of heads. A lot of people have been spotting this, and I think it's nice for a car that isn't necessarily super, expensive. Talking like exotic, this does look very unique. A lot of people compare it to a Porsche because of things I'll mention later on in the video, but it also has a very unique character to it. So starting with the front, guys, you do get unique styling, and with the headlights, there's a pixel theme, which will go throughout the entire car. And I'm not going to try to mention it every single second, but you'll see if there's squares, that's part of that pixel theme. The nice thing is it's not a design language because the IONIQ 5 has the pixels, and it's a very different looking vehicle, very different. It's more, edgy. This is more curves, which is nice. They don't just make it a smaller, sedan version of the IONIQ 5. It is unique. And you got a camera up front as part of the 360 surround view camera, and that's super helpful when parking this car. Even though it's not super big, it just makes life a lot easier. Down here, there are active flaps to, bring air into the cooling system depending on, vehicle load and what it needs. And then right there in the middle is your charging indicator. So you get vents along the side, nice little black, chrome trim, but that's where your parking sensors are, and that's super helpful. It shows up as well when you go to park this vehicle. Then you get amber, reflectors on the side, and these are also amber. They're not actually clear. When you turn it on, it's amber, and that gives it a unique styling. Going on to the wheel package, these are P0 all seasons. They are the elect tires. They're intended and engineered more for electric vehicles. And that improves lower, rolling resistance, but also is a more sturdier tire, so it's supposed to last longer. You'll notice that by the badge or little, emblem right there, elect. So, on top of that's supposed to reduce noise, which is cool. And these are 20-inch wheels, and they measure 245, 40, or 20. Obviously, they look cool, but these are black inlays that are meant to look aesthetically pleasing, but they're not actual. Those are very few spokes. That's just to be, more efficient, lower the rolling resistance. Once you take a step back to see the overall side profile, it does have that teardrop shape to it. But to be honest, guys, it isn't like what you see on a Mercedes electric vehicle, where it just looks like a like an egg. This has edges to it. It has, I feel like, more personality. And you see that because there are changes in the curves, and I think it looks really cool. I like the design of this. Going on the mirror caps, you do have the pixel turn signal indicators. Then you have a camera here as part of that 360 surround camera system. This is a keyless entry system. Put your finger on this pixel, locks it, put it again, unlocks it. But whenever it is locked, you can just kind of put your finger here and pull it, and it will open the door once it's locked. You kind of just do that. And that's how you'll open it. It'll stay open once the vehicle is unlocked, letting you know. It's a nice visual indicator. Your B pillar and C pillar are blacked out. That, I think, makes the car look cool. And then look at the rear 3/4 here. You do have your charge port, which you just press these little pixels. It opens up. What you're effectively doing is you're pressing this little knob onto this button. But while you can close it with this button, and then I'll open it again, that's not the only way to close it. If I just push it, it closes. So it is smart. It's not just dumb. You can't accidentally mess it up, or some things will freak out on power actuated systems. It'll just freeze and you have to push it the rest of the way, and it doesn't feel too pleasant. This isn't like that. Coming around the back here, this is probably the coolest looking part. You get this Porsche inspired deck lid spoiler. It's got some nice little streaks inside, and the pixel lights. It looks really cool at night because it's all lit up. And you see the little pixels a little clear. And then you get the rest of that swept roof line. Nice little secondary spoiler down there. And this is the rear wheel drive, and I think if you're not in snowy climates, you don't need the all-wheel drive because it reduces range, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But if you're thinking about getting this for the snow, I would be careful about it because there isn't a windshield wiper here, so snow will pack on it, and that's just not ideal for that. And then the same thing here with the camera, there isn't a cleaner on it, which if you are going to be in snowy climates, you want that. I think the Toyota BZ4X has that. This one doesn't, so it's not ideal in those situations. Again, you'll see more pixels along the entire rear light bar, and then this button right here will open the power lift gate. Cool. So it is a power, it's not a hatch, which is what it would seem like. It is a normal trunk, which I like. I didn't expect this to be a hatch. And the cool thing is you can press to close it, but I got so used to just looking at this as a trunk that I got into the habit. I mean, I stopped, but I was in the habit of just kind of pulling it down. And if you do that, it'll actually, hold up. it'll bring it down the rest of the way. So it's smart about it. It won't just freeze. You have to pull it down. I mean, it wasn't perfect because I didn't like fully commit to it, but it will do that. It won't just like say, oh, you're taking over, do the rest of the thing. It'll realize that you want to bring the tailgate down and do it all for you. So that's cool. You get some cool accents here. These are like little, edges that encourage separation to reduce aerodynamic drag. So I think that's awesome. And then you have your lights down there, your reverse lights. So it is a good looking car. I like it. It's turned a lot of heads and it makes you feel special, which yes, you do want to feel like when you're spending a lot of money on a car, but it doesn't look weird special like they were doing with like the Nissan Leaf back in the day. All right, let me open the hood, and this is where I normally talk about powertrain, but I'll talk about other things as well. So this is, like I said earlier, the rear-wheel drive model. You can get this in rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. At the base price of like $41,000, you get the 150 horsepower motor and just powering the rear wheels. You can step up to the all-wheel drive, and that'll make 320 horsepower. This one makes 225 horsepower. And I think it's a perfect amount of power for this vehicle. It doesn't feel light, it's got good passing power, and it's also somewhat fun to drive just because of the nice low center of gravity nature of electric vehicles. So you do get front storage, and it's not like the IONIQ 5 where you had a little bit more and it was actually like a closable compartment. This, I feel like, isn't that useful, but I feel like if you're gonna make a hood open via a latch on the inside, you're not gonna give someone quick access to it, which you can't in this car, and I'll show a little bit more as to why. Um, then don't include it. I don't think a lot of people are using front storage space as much as I feel like electric car companies expected them to. And yeah, adding a latch, so you have to open the front door, pull the latch, and then lift this up to get access to storage. It's like probably gonna put like a first aid kit or something you'll rarely access. But again, that's something you can just fit in a trunk. So yeah, the reason you can't open the front storage space is because this is the key right here. It looks like a Hyundai, which is cool, but it also looks like an egg. So it feels kind of tacky. It feels like a little kid's toy, and I'm not a fan of that. The buttons all work. You have lock, unlock, your hold for your panic. This is how you would remote start it, and that'd be for these buttons here, if you want to use the park assist. I'll try to do a video, a separate video on that, because it's really cool. And you have your rear trunk hold, but you don't have a front like electronic unlatch system where you do on like a Lucid or a Tesla. You can open it from the app. I just feel like having a mechanical latch makes opening this front storage really not worth it. So just my opinion there. As far as like how often I've opened this, it's really not been that often, and I haven't needed to, and I haven't wanted to. So that's a quick look at the outside. You do get a shark fin antenna real quick. That is transparent. That's transparent, and I mean it looks kind of cool. I don't know why they did it, but it gives like a little techie nature to it. It looks kind of sick. But let's open this up here, and let's start with the door panel. So they emphasize that they use a lot of like recycled materials, and they're nice materials. They're not bad. Like they got these nice ridges on the door panel, and this is where like the uh, LED ambient lighting kind of reflects off of, which looks sick at night. And then this is one big Bose speaker grill, really cool design. And this armrest is really nice. It's padded, and it's like ergonomic. Like you can rest your arm while you have your hand on the steering wheel. Down here though, I didn't really like this. It is a transparent material. I don't know why they did that, but you can't really fit a bottle in here. It's too rigid, and the opening just isn't ideal. You have this that gets in the way. I tried to fit a normal bottle that would fit in like a cup holder, and it wouldn't get in there. Let's get like a plastic reusable or non-reusable bottle. Fine, but I wasn't a fan of how they implemented it. So just my comments on the door. You get IONIQ here, which is cool, plastic. So you don't get the like IONIQ 5 has, where you have like the leg rest. This doesn't have that. So on the seats you get more of those pixels. These are heated and ventilated seats, which is cool because of the limited trim. Let's hop inside here. Show you guys the right here where you have you can adjust the dimness. You have your charge port door, and then you have traction control off, and then you can release your trunk here. You have your park release, your side view mirror adjustments. Because there's nothing on the door like you guys saw earlier, so no window switches here. All that stuff is down here. Takes getting used to. It's kind of like a Jeep. I found myself having to go here a lot, but you're owning a car, you're gonna learn how to use it. So it makes sense from an engineering perspective, because the reason a lot of companies do this, it's not because of you're removing the doors on a Bronco or a Wrangler. It's to reduce weight. It's a weight savings, and when weight matters a lot as far as range goes, it makes sense to do this. I'm surprised more companies haven't done it. It's a bold design decision, but they did it. No lid covering this, which is fine, because no one's going to have it covered all the time unless the car is brand new or it's been detailed or something. Cup holders here. You have a wireless charger here. It's a weird implementation, a little lip on it, which I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, it works, but It's not ideal. And then you have USB-A here, which is interesting because under here are USB-Cs. I feel like they should have committed to the USB-C, especially for the one that you're going to use most often. So, just my opinion. It is wired because you have wired Apple CarPlay and Android. It's not wireless, so keep that in mind. Let's start this up here. You get the center screen pulling up here, and then two 12.25-inch displays. And they're nice. They're really cool. We'll talk about more about how they function when we go on the drive. But turn off the AC here. These pixels light up on the steering wheel. This is new. IONIQ 5 didn't have this. And you have your drive mode selector, all your controls here. Your paddles here control your brake regen. So if you want, it starts at a level 3. If you ever go to like I pedal, which is your one pedal driving, which is max, you have to reset every time. Like I've had to when driving it. So gear selector here is pretty straightforward. It makes sense. Drive, 1 notch for neutral, 2 notches for reverse, and then push P for park. So, and you notice when I got into reverse, you hear the electric motors, and then you have your 360 surround view camera, which is cool. You can pan around that. That's nice. I think it's always a cool feature to have. But the camera quality is really nice. So you got projection lines. So it is a very practical 360 surround view camera system, which I like. Going up top, let's go into park. Normal rear view mirror. Buttons here for your lights. I think there's touch sensitive physical button here for this light. And then a sunroof, which is nice. And you can toggle that here. You got notches to open it up, or you just want the shade to open. It's 1 notch versus 2. And then, like I said, center console space is pretty decent. It's well padded. It's not like insanely stiff, but it's not super soft. It's nice in between. And then down here, you do have storage. The same kind of transparent plastic. But it's a good storage space, and it just prevents things from slopping around or flopping around, which is nice. Just benefit of an electric vehicle where you have a low floor and you can use it as storage. So here you can kind of see the ambient lighting. It'll show up better there at night. And yeah, I noticed even on like 1 fan speed, it's really high. Like I wish there was like a 0.5 in this. That would have been nice because I feel like 1 is too much for me. So yeah, let's hop in the back real quick and show you the back seats. Just open this here. It's a weird way of opening it. But in the back, you do get your window switches here. So they didn't put it in the middle because there is no center. And then these are your back seats. Nothing crazy there. You look here, this is what looks like a mechanical override for the rear hatch. So if you pop that open, it'll probably be a mechanical latch in case, let's say, the electronics fail. So get in the back here, I'm sitting behind myself, loads of legroom, like insane amounts. I'm 5'8", so I'm not super tall, but for even 6-foot people, you get a ton. You do lose out on a little bit of headroom, as you can see here. So, but that's just, you know what, looking just by the shape of the car. More USB-C ports, little cubby down there, which is nice. You also get a wall outlet here where you can cover up, but you can turn that on, and then there's a lock if you wanted to lock that. And the key, if you guys were wondering, I didn't highlight it earlier. There is a physical key, but it's this little stick here. You pop off this cap, and that's your mechanical key. So you do get netting in the back pockets for a little storage here. That's nice. You get a little cubby here with the speaker grill, and you can put a phone here. It's nice. It's a good size. It's a good shape. And you can kind of see the red reflecting up there. So same kind of material. Nice little pull tab. Bring out the cup holders here. And it's firm, but it's also well padded. So you don't mind, like, you know, when I put my weight on it, it feels really nice. All right, so yeah, foot on the brake. It's already on. Let's go into drive here. And I want you guys to pay attention to this screen here. I'll try to bring it up a little bit so you guys can see it better. But off the bat, we're in level 3 regen. So cameras pop out, really nice. And this is like a leather material, but it's soft, but it's also got good grip. I feel like it's not like a normal leather that I've felt on other like more traditional vehicles. So it might be some like pleather made of more sustainable materials. So just get on it real quick for you guys. It doesn't have that punch, but we're also not in sport mode. That's in normal. We can go into our drive mode here. Press it. You get a cool little center gauge cluster. You got your blind spot monitoring camera, which Hyundai's put, and then oh yeah, little slip in the rear. That's nice. That is really nice. Woo! That's good. Honestly, for 250 or 225 horsepower, it's not bad. And then I like this gauge cluster, how it changes. We can switch through real quick. Eco, normal, sport. That was really fun. Let's go into normal because one, just so we take it easy, we don't get in trouble here. But two, I want you guys to be looking at the screen. It's got blind spot detection on your mirrors, but it also shows it here relative to the car. So if there's a car in your right blind spot or left, it'll show you dead center, which is a very quick way of seeing it without having to check. You just have a good awareness. Obviously, outside of checking around the car, you also have a very good quick reference for that if you're just looking straight and it's within your sight lines, which is nice. And visibility is good, even though this is a raked roof because of the design. You don't sacrifice visibility. A-pillars aren't, I don't think, too much of an obstruction. So yeah, and then honestly, guys, it's very quiet, it's very comfortable in here. These seats do a good job of just keeping me comfortable and supported. And I felt very confident getting this car for the first time. And there are little electric motor noises, but it's not like a big part of this car. So, and since we're going to be hitting a light here, let me go into sport mode. Once the thing turns green, we'll stab it and we'll experience what that's like. Oh, I just love the torque. And when you go off of it, there's still like a little bit of a surge of power. It feels like what would be like a throttle delay. But I guess that's just how they tuned it. Honestly, we're gonna get off at this exit. This person passed. That was just a nice little way to launch it. And at speeds, it's comfortable. It's very. Like, I don't have any issues at high speeds. It drives like a normal car, guys. Don't be expecting anything crazy out of this thing because it's all electric, because it's the IONIQ 6 versus the IONIQ 5. Same platform, same mechanics, just different body and different packaging. And the benefit of that is at the cheapest end, you get the best range, which isn't normal for an electric car. Usually they'll charge you a premium for more range. This one, you get it in the base model. And man, it's fun. It's just the rear-wheel drive nature of it. You feel like it's putting that power to the rear wheels, and it's not afraid to go. It's very predictable. I drifted around like 5 in the snow, and it was really easy to drift. So, just a little bit here. And forgive me for this camera stuff. I'm still trying to figure out my camera setup, guys. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. Peace.